The views and opinions expressed on Lockdown Radio should not be considered expert advice. I'm just a dumb electrician who likes to laugh at his own jokes. Enjoy the show. Coming up on this Freedom Convoy edition of Lockdown Radio. So you live in Ottawa. My question is, how do you feel about the current situation with the Freedom Convoy that's happening here in Ottawa?
When the lockdown happened 2 years ago, I was in restaurants for 11 years, but because of the government shutdowns, I had to change career paths. It breaks my heart how many, breaks my heart, makes me angry at the same time that they shut down. I know a lot of restaurants that have been around 30, 40 years, that this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. They couldn't handle it, so.
The COVID shot is not 100% accurate. I can say that because I just lost my dad and my cousin.
It's a very difficult time to have anybody loved one in the hospital.
The way I look at everything, ever since COVID came in, everything became hard. You can't get through to anyone unless you have the papers because they want to see the fact that you are vaccinated. If you're not, it's like you're not welcome. That's where I was.
Yeah, the Chateau Laurier. Is this the same place where the guy who had the Nazi flag was staying? I saw pictures of the guy who was carrying the Nazi flag, and he was staying here at the Chateau Laurier. I wonder if that was maybe paid for by the government.
You know, you have to really do your own study. You have to go not just what you see, you have to go deeper. So you have to be curious, and you want to have both sides of the story. There's always both sides.
Anybody can find these total number of deaths on the Quebec official site. So you just have to go to Google's, type statistic Quebec, total number of deaths.
Well, when it comes to passports, I'd like to even rephrase that and take it another direction altogether. I have a passport. It's a Canadian passport. It happens to be in my pocket. This is terrible. We have a prime minister that we have elected that does not want to speak to us. This is so simple. This is so unnecessary. Lifting mandates does not change the vaccine for those who want it. It's out there. It will be there for the next 20 jobs.
I was out on the West Coast trying to make a buck, and things didn't work out. I was down on my luck. Got tired of roaming and bumming around, so I started thumbing back east toward my hometown. Made a lot of miles the first 2 days, and I figured I'd be home in a week if my luck held out this way. But the third night I got stranded way out of town at a cold, lonely crossroads. Rain was pouring down. I was hungry and freezing, done caught a chill, when the lights of a big semi topped the hill. Lord, I sure was glad to hear them air brakes come on. And I climbed in that cab where I knew it'd be warm. At the wheel sat a big man. He weighed about 210. He stuck out his hand and said with a grin, "Big Joe's the name." I told him mine. And he said the name of my rig is Phantom 309. I asked him why he called his rig such a name. He said, "Son, this old Mac can put 'em all to shame. There ain't a driver or a rig a-running any line that's seen nothing but taillights from Phantom 309.
Hello, welcome to Lockdown Radio. This is another Freedom Convoy edition of the show, and that was Phantom 309 by Red Sovine, or Sovine, I don't know, Sovine. So yeah, we got a really good show this week. It's a very good one, a lot of great interviews, including I actually go up and I speak to some police who happen to be, I believe, staying at the Chateau Laurier in downtown Ottawa from Peel region. And I even asked them a little bit about the Nazi flag controversy. So that's coming up. But first, before we do that, I just want to clear up something that, I've been hearing people talk about. They've been saying, oh my God, look at all the restrictions that are loosening everywhere. all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. Is the Freedom Convoy doing this? Well, I don't think so, folks. And I'm going to play some clips for you right now, and I'm going to prove that to you. Okay, here we go.
Is there any indication that the federal government is going to concede?
No, there's absolutely none. In fact, the Prime Minister and his senior ministers have made it clear that they are sticking with the vaccine mandate for truckers, and they are not moving on off their position that vaccination is the best way out of this, and that there needs to be public health restrictions to convince more and more people to get their first, second, and possibly even their third shots.
Okay, so that was the CBC's hardest working journalist, by the way. He has actually won that award, David Cochrane, and that was on January 30th. So let's play that again.
No, there's absolutely none. In fact, the Prime Minister and his senior ministers have made it clear that they are sticking with the vaccine mandate for truckers, and they are not moving on off their position that vaccination is the best way out of this, and that there needs to be public health restrictions to convince more and more people to get their first, second, and possibly even their third shots.
There needs to be more restrictions. We need more restrictions. We need to coerce people into getting their first, second, and, as he said, maybe even your third dose.
No, there's absolutely none. In fact, the Prime Minister and his senior ministers have made it clear that they are sticking with the vaccine mandate for truckers, and they are not moving on off their position that vaccination is the best way out of this. And
they are not backing down, folks. That's what David Cochrane is telling us on January 30th, 2022. The government is not backing down. But I wonder what he says, a mere 5 days later. Let's check in on the next David Cochrane clip that we have here today.
Countries like the United Kingdom, Denmark, Sweden, they've begun lifting nearly all COVID-19 public health measures. Is Canada next? At least one province says it's ready to make that move.
There's been a lot of discussion lately about whether it's time for us in Saskatchewan to look at ending all of the remaining COVID measures and restrictions that we have in place. Well, I think it is time. That's what I am hearing, and that's what our MLAs are hearing from most of their constituents.
Mona Niemer is Canada's Chief Science Advisor. She's in Ottawa. Dr. Niemer, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
I want to start with the big picture if we can. We've seen several countries in Europe, they've started to lift their COVID-19 restrictions while others have done away with them entirely. At what point do you think Canada can start doing something like that?
CBC journalist David Cochrane, there that is, from February 4th, a mere 5 days later from when he said that we needed more restrictions. He actually said that we needed more restrictions, and he even referenced a third dose, possibly that we need restrictions in order, not necessarily. He actually didn't say to end the pandemic or to make people healthier or anything like that. He just said simply that we need to have more restrictions to convince people to get first, second, and possibly third doses, he says. So that was, so let's play that again. Again, this is 5 days later. He says the first thing on January 30th, and then he says this second thing on February 4th, 5 days later. Let's listen to that again.
Countries like the United Kingdom, Denmark, Sweden, they've begun lifting nearly all COVID-19 public health measures. Is Canada next? I want to start with the big picture if we can. We've seen several countries in Europe, they've started to lift their COVID-19 restrictions while others have done away with them entirely. At what point do you think Canada can start doing something like that?
So now, just in case, I just want to address, obviously the elephant in the room here. There are certain, I guess we'll call them tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists who probably listen to this show, who are out there and they're saying crazy things that the convoy itself might be responsible for the loosening of these restrictions that we're seeing across Canada and even in the world. I just want to say that is absolutely false. That is actually spreading dangerous misinformation. So here is Manitoba's new premier, Heather Stefanson, clearly proving to you, unequivocally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they, in fact, were just about to, loosen restrictions and that this actually has nothing to do with the Freedom Convoy. Here is Heather Stefanson.
What I would say is that this has been ongoing. I mean, Dr. Rusin said, I guess weeks ago that we were looking at probably the spring, wherein we would be removing all the restrictions. And that was before protesters were out in, the front of the legislature. So, I mean, we have been having these discussions for some time.
See? They were already going to do it anyway. It wasn't because of the Freedom Convoy.
Dr. Rusin said, I guess weeks ago that we were looking at probably the spring, wherein we would be removing all the restrictions.
Probably the spring, yes. So, don't you feel stupid for having a Freedom Convoy now and protesting? When, you know what, they were probably going to give you back your freedoms in the spring anyway. So what you're doing means nothing. It's not working, guys.
So, I mean, we have been having these discussions for some time.
For some time, they've been having these discussions. Freedom, they wanted to give us back our freedom. They were going to do it. They were just about to do it. They were weeks away from making an announcement. I think they were even maybe going to make the announcement. I'm just saying they might have made the announcement on Valentine's Day. I think that they were probably going to, in a very loving way, they were going to give us back our freedoms. On Valentine's Day, they were going to make the announcement. But then we went and ruined it. We went and had our Freedom Convoy. Oh, no. Now, don't we look silly? Don't we look stupid for for protesting when they were already going to do it? They already said they were going to give back the freedoms. They were talking about it. I mean, yes, none of this was made public. None of it, there was no knowledge of this in the mainstream media, but they were going to do it. Well, now that we've clearly put that issue to bed, let's not waste any more time and let's get to this week's interviews. Okay, here we are, downtown Ottawa on Rideau Street. And I'm joined with
Josh.
Josh, very nice to meet you. So you're working down here, downtown Ottawa?
That's correct, yes.
You're in construction. I see you're in, is that the Luna?
La Una Union.
Nice. How do you enjoy that?
It's good. It's good. Not too bad. A lot of work. Busy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually an electrician myself.
Oh, really?
Been busy throughout the whole thing. Worked every day throughout the pandemic. All that,
That's good.
So what are how was the lockdown for you as a working person in construction?
Well, to be honest, when the lockdown happened 2 years ago, I was in restaurants for 11 years, but because of the government shutdowns, I had to change career paths. So it didn't really affect me per se, but it's been still quite infuriating to see nonetheless.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it might be a positive career move for you. I don't know. I mean, but at the same time, those restaurants have always had the right to stay open.
100%. And it actually breaks my heart how many. It's kind of breaks my heart, makes me angry at the same time that they shut down. I know a lot of restaurants that have been around 30, 40 years that this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. They couldn't handle it. So,
what do you think about the claim that the Freedom Convoy is locking down the city of Ottawa?
I think, it's no problem when the government does it, and they shut everybody inside. Nobody seems to. I mean, the same people that are complaining about the truckers coming down, when the people get say enough's enough, I don't know. I mean, I think they're doing what we should have been doing a long time ago. They should have been more aggressive about it, in my opinion, actually.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I was here when it started a couple weeks ago or whatever, the first night, and we're supporting the businesses here as much as we can. I don't see any reason why these businesses have to be closed. There's lots of hungry people here who would love to support them, don't you think?
I agree, 100%. 100%. I said, yeah. Sorry.
All right, well, thank you very much for doing that, Josh, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Likewise, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll give you a card.
Cool, man. So it'll be on YouTube, or what do you guys have on?
Yeah, that's a different one. You can take that too. That's the podcast there. It's on Rumble as well.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
I guess Rumble.
So here we go. We are in Ottawa. We are, I believe, again on Rideau Street. I see a sign. And I'm standing downtown, and I'm with a group of people. And your name?
Maggie.
Maggie. It's very nice to meet you, Maggie.
Likewise.
And
Igunak.
Okay,
Be nice.
okay. I don't know what that meant,
No,
but
no.
is
That's not his name.
Seal meat and fish.
No.
seal meat and fish. Okay.
Igunak is old age.
Okay, yeah. So, so you live in Ottawa, Maggie, and my question is, how do you feel about the current situation with the Freedom Convoy that's happening here in Ottawa?
Well, from my perspective, I just lost a dad January 1st due to COVID, and he had both COVID shots, and my first cousin, and January 7th. And like it's hard to deal with right now, but like it is what it is. But like the COVID shot is not 100% accurate. I can say that because I just lost my dad and my cousin. And like for me it's like a trap, you know, the way I look at it, because I was not getting the shots because I don't believe in it, because it's a man-made of sickness, right?
Well, yeah, and
Yeah, technically.
man-made. I believe a lot of people are talking about science.
Yeah.
But what I think is still the greatest thing is nature.
Yeah.
Nature is so much far greater than science.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think that's just my opinion. I think that's probably true.
I don't like science. It's a waste of money.
Yeah. Well, there is that too. They like getting funded for different things.
Mother Nature is not happy. I can say this because
So anyway, I'm sorry.
Supo siya mo.
He's not talking positive.
Okay.
It's all.
the earth
Ask him too.
is too messy.
Yeah.
Too much garbage.
It has its.
So the Mother Nature is not happy.
I agree with you.
Hello,
And I'm very sorry to hear about your father. I actually lost my father within the last year as well. He did not have COVID, but it's a difficult time. It's a very difficult time to have anybody loved one in the hospital because of I felt the limitations on being able to visit and that sort of thing. I felt that was made it worse than it even needed to be.
The way I look at everything, ever since COVID came in, everything became hard, and you can't get through to anyone unless you have the papers, because they want to see the fact that you are vaccinated. If you're not, it's like you're not welcome. It's like that's where I was, but it's like we should.
Did that happen to you? Did they prevent you from visiting because of that?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. That's a tragedy. It should not happen. The hospital is meant for people who are not feeling well. So how can they say that you have to be feeling well before you can go there?
Mind control. It's like mind control, and this has to end because, like, you know, we have children, we have grandkids, we have, like, you know, we want to be able to show them that, like, we're not being controlled, but the way we want to live in our lives, we control it. But today, that's what they want. They want control. But it shouldn't have to be.
They want too much control. They want more control than I'm willing to allow them to have.
Yes.
I say this. That I believe your father is still looking down and watching you,
But of course.
and he loves you, and he knows how much you love him.
Yeah.
And regardless of the cruel policies that hospital had, it at the end it doesn't break any truth.
Look, once you go hospital, they ask you if you're fully vaccinated. If you're not welcome. If you feel like you're not welcome. But if you're fully vaccinated, like they treat you like queens, they treat you like prince. No, it shouldn't have to be this way.
And what difference is there between, they say now that you're going to get COVID no matter what, right? Whether you're vaccinated or not. So does it make a difference if you get COVID, if you catch COVID from a vaccinated person or from an unvaccinated person?
I don't think there's a big difference because if there was prevention, there would not be death, If the COVID shot is preventing something, it would have saved my father, it would have saved my cousin, but it didn't. So it's not 100% accurate, it's not 100% proof, the fact that it's fully safe, It's not saving you from death. So
and nothing can.
Nothing.
But anyway, I just want to say sorry for your loss and thank you very much for doing this and speaking to me.
Thank you very much, and I hope everything goes well with everyone because, every life matters. Every life. Because depression is for real. It's out there. Like before the COVID, it's out there, the depression. But I'm telling you, every life matters.
Absolutely. And it really does. Right to the very end, it always matters.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm Mike, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Maggie.
Maggie, thank you.
Nice to meet you likewise.
I love it. I would move to Peterborough just for fun.
Hey guys, how's it going? How are you guys doing today? I'm very good. How are you guys doing? Is this the Chateau Laurier? Are you're not from Ottawa? No. Oh, you guys. So you're here, helping out with keeping the peace and all that. Yeah. Nice. Where are you guys from? Peel? Is that Peel region?
Yep.
What do they call Peel region? I've heard something. I don't know. There's a derogatory term for Peel region. It's really funny, but I can't think of it right now. Yeah, the Chateau Laurier. Is this the same place where the guy who had the Nazi flag was staying? I saw pictures of the guy who was carrying the Nazi flag, and he was staying here at the Chateau Laurier. Is that? I wonder if that was maybe paid for by the government.
You're asking the wrong guy, buddy. Sorry, can't help you. Answer your questions.
Your kids?
I'm not going to get into that. Thank you, though.
Well, thank you very much for keeping the peace, and I'm not trying to. I am taking a bit of a piss with the Nazi flag thing, but it is going around that the guy who was supposedly a trucker was staying at the Chateau Laurier for $800 a night, blah blah blah. It's just pretty unbelievable.
Can't speak to that. I have no idea.
Absolutely, I wouldn't expect you to. I was just kind of having a bit of a joke, but thanks a lot, guys. Thank you. Okay, here we are. We are on Rideau Street. That's right in front of the Parliament, on Parliament Hill, essentially, right?
Yes. I'm Mark from Magog, Quebec.
And Natalie.
So Mark and Natalie. And what part of Quebec did you say you were from?
Magog, Eastern Townships.
Magog. Okay, I haven't been to there.
It's near the state of Vermont.
Quebec is so beautiful, by the way. I mean,
Canada is beautiful.
Everywhere is, but yes, Quebec has just a certain feel to it that I feel like I'm traveling to. It's just a fantastic place. But I'd just like to ask about these signs that you have here. I see you have, you're showing the years. It says media exaggerated total number of deaths. And then we've got the years 2017 through 2021. And this is in Quebec. This is the Quebec's official statistics right from the government of Quebec. Yeah. I see here we've got 2017, 83,855 total deaths in Quebec, all-cause mortality, I assume, no matter anything.
All causes.
Yeah, and that number fluctuates to 83,000 and change in 2018, to 84,000 in 2019, 81. Incidentally, isn't that interesting? 2020 supposedly the deadliest year, and there we have 80, actually less, 81,850, and then 2021 is 84,800.
So, and on the other side, the media were always saying there's a huge number of deaths. That's why we have to close down and everything, and it's false. And this is their own numbers. So,
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, you can look up these numbers for yourself.
Yeah, here's the website which I print here, and so on this site you will see the number of birth, death, wedding, and divorce. So you see all this, and it's everybody can have access to it.
Wow, and yet most people, they just watch the 6 o'clock news, and they paint a completely different picture. And most people will never go to the extent that you've done here to even look this information up, let alone print it out and, share it with other people. I'm very glad that you're actually doing that. You are helping.
Yeah, and this is fake news, but you have to go a mile longer. You have to really do your own study. You have to go not just what you see, you have to go deeper. So you have to be curious, and you want to have both sides of the story. There's always both sides. There's not only 100% dark or white. You have to see the both sides of everything that happening. It cannot be only dark or white. And it's the same for the doctors. Nurses and truck drivers and all walks of life are resigning because they want to take care of the body. They want to have the freedom of choice, the freedom of speech. And the doctors are there to serve, to protect the citizen, to tell them about their health. And they don't want to talk because they will lose their job. And I mean, it takes courage, but this is, they took the Hippocratic oath, and this is what it says. You have to protect the people, so they have to stand up, speak out, speak up, and have the courage to get out of their couch, to get out of their comfort zone, and do what the middle, class citizen do. And they have to get up and tell the people, because the politician, there's nothing to do with them. But I mean, the population who are scared, if they see that it's coming from the doctor, the official, the health official, they will wake up, or they will at least, stop and say, well, I'm wondering, maybe I'll have to think it over. But you never hear about them, and as long as they don't talk, I mean, it will help. In the long run, we'll get there, but it will take more time. So if they speak, it will help. The truck drivers are doing they're making a lot of sacrifices.
Yes,
so they should do
are.
the same. So it's a shame. It's a disgrace. And I know some want to talk, but they're scared of losing their job. And not the médecins, I don't know how you say that. The health doctors,
medical association, and so on.
They have the mandate to say you don't talk, otherwise you lose the job. It's the same for anyone, any kind of association, engineering, nurses, doctor. If you speak out, you lose your job. So you have to stand up. It's been 2 years. We've been patient, and we gave you all the time. And now we see it's a big lies. And now enough is enough. It's time to stand up and speak out.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Enough is enough.
Just one more point for your listener.
Yes,
anybody can find these total number of deaths on the Quebec official site. So you just have to go to Google's, type Statistic Quebec total number of deaths, and you will see this these numbers. So anybody can, and all the other provinces of Quebec, Canada is the same.
I find that to be maybe the most frustrating thing of the past 2 years, is that the information is there.
Yeah.
It's always been there
and published by them.
Like the number one.
The other thing.
the only peer-reviewed study on masks is from 2015, and it's basically claimed that you were slightly higher at risk of getting sick if you wore a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So yeah, it's crazy. Well.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Look at the back of my coat here.
Bye-bye. Ask me about...
All right, here we are once again at Parliament Hill here in Ontario, and I am joined with
Lucinda of Montreal.
Lucinda from Montreal. Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Mike.
Yeah. So Lucinda, you were mentioning something about the. Can you?
Yes.
Sorry. He's barking. He wants to get his pizza. He heard the word pizza. So. So Lucinda, you were mentioning the vaccine passports. I actually did a show about. I asked everybody I could talk to in Peterborough, and I asked them, why do we need a vaccine passport? I put the onus of the burden of proof onto them, and I didn't say why don't we need one. I asked them, why do we need them? Right. Very interesting responses. So what are your thoughts on the vaccine passport?
Well, when it comes to passports, I'd like to even rephrase that and take it another direction altogether. I have a passport. It's a Canadian passport. It happens to be in my pocket.
Not inside your body, right?
No, it's my passport to being a Canadian citizen. That passport...
Some people would like to say it's the same thing as getting a passport as getting a vaccine passport, but I keep my passport in a folder in a spare bedroom at home. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Now somebody's going to know where I keep it. But it's not inside my body. I don't keep my passport inside my body.
I don't also need my passport to be able to go to Canadian Tire. I don't need my passport to go to Costco. I don't need my passport to go to the ski hill. I need a passport right now, their passport, to go everywhere.
And you're in Montreal, Lucinda?
Yeah.
And I hear, like, I think the Quebec restrictions have been the worst maybe in the country.
Yes.
Probably second to, first, Ontario maybe being second, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, sorry, that's not COVID. Sorry, just got something in my throat there.
I'm not worried.
Okay, good. So, do they still have that rule now in effect about the Canadian Tire, the 1,500 square meter thing?
Yeah. Can't go anywhere. So I have officially become a second-class Canadian citizen. That's my issue. I am a second-class. We now have a caste system in Canada. This is incredible. I am a Canadian, a full-fledged born Canadian. Yep. My father fought in the war.
Yep.
I am French Canadian. Yep. My dad is French Canadian. My mother is English Canadian. We are a good Canadian family raised with Canadian values, English and French in our home at the exact same time. All that sort of freedom of choice stuff. Totally freedom of choice. This comes along, and all of a sudden, and I am a professional twice over, this comes along, and all of a sudden, wait a second, I'm not a good Canadian. I'm a second-class leper. I'm not allowed to present myself freedom where I want to go.
That's amazing. I know. I just have to say, sorry, I just want to say hello to a couple people from Peterborough who walked past here. Hey, Neil. Neil's been on before. And Dave.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Dave.
That's his dog.
Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
you
my
have,
point.
like you mentioned, the Canadian, the values that we have in this country. We value freedom. Yeah. We value, like, we don't judge people based on their choices. We have the ability to be different. You're supposed to be allowed to make a different choice. Yeah. What kind of society demands 100% compliance? Throughout history, that's never been the good guys, has it?
Well, good guys, bad guys, it belongs to them. All I know is I'm not born in one of those countries. I have never had to, thank God, live or survive in any of those countries. I'm a Canadian. And we are quiet, gentle, kind, loving people. We have never had divisiveness like this. We've had our issues, a couple of things, nothing like this. This is terrible. We have a prime minister that we have elected that does not want to speak to us. This is so simple. This is so unnecessary. All he has to do is look around UK, Denmark, and say, yeah, he doesn't even have to discuss this, really. He just has to say, oh, yeah, look, mandates are coming down. We need to drop the passport, and we're all good. Dropping the passport doesn't mean the vaccines are going to disappear. They will still be there for all those who want to be vaccinated. The masks will still be there for all those who want to wear it. They can wear 2 of them. It doesn't do anything for them. What it does for us is it increases our lack of freedom. I don't need a passport in Canada beside my Canadian passport.
Yeah, a passport is to leave the country. The idea of a passport is is actually not to leave your country, it's for a different country to accept you. And that is something that you should maybe ask permission to do. You know, every country in the world has the right to say, you know, yeah, we want somebody, and if they want to do that, that's fine. I love traveling around in the world, but you know what, that may not happen. I'm very thankful, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
I cannot take a train or a bus from Montreal to Toronto. I'm not allowed.
And that is infrastructure.
I'm a
that is
second-class
Canadian
useless leper.
Canadian infrastructure paid for by our taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what is my passport? My Canadian, my true blue one and only passport? You realize my Canadian passport is useless? The vaccine passport has surpassed it. It has the power. The vaccine passport has the power. My Canadian passport is rendered useless. I can't go to Toronto. I can't take a plane. I can't take a train. If there was a boat, it's winter, but if there was, I couldn't take a boat. I can't obviously leave my country, but I can't even travel in my own, unless I go by car. Whoop-diddy-doo. I'm sick.
It is unacceptable. It can't last. I don't believe this can last. I heard, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Legault? Is that your guy?
Good enough.
Yeah, I heard he kind of backed off on the tax thing because essentially that is violence. Taxing is mean. The other way to say taxing is to say jailing, essentially, and that is violence.
Yeah.
So they finally crossed a line. Like, this is where they play the game where they get closer to you, and then you finally say, but you know, I'm surprised that he's not also backing off on the big box store thing. I just found that unacceptable. I was here a couple weeks ago when this started, and going through McDonald's, grabbing a coffee on the way home, and I see a man standing there. I guess it's only open to drive through, but the guy's standing outside in the freezing cold trying to pay, and it just makes me think about the unfairness of a lot of these policies and what it's really done. And they were ignoring them. It's just it's gross.
And like I say, lifting mandates does not change the vaccine for those who want it. It's out there. It will be there for the next 20 jobs, the next 20 reboots, whatever. It'll be there.
Well, it's not the type of product that really flies off the shelf unless you force people to take it.
Well, the laboratories are going to continue to make it. So the people who are worried about, oh my God, we're going to drop all mandates, what are they worried about? The vaccines are there. And you know what? All this for 10% of the population? Does that make sense to you? We reached herd immunity a long time ago. 90%, so-called 90% are vaccinated. So all this for 10%? It's not going to change. Whether it's 10, 9, 8, maybe if they stop forcing people, or maybe if they wait, I don't know, until 2025 when it's actually finished being checked out, maybe they'll get a few more percent. But by forcing, mandating, get the job or lose your job, what is that? I don't live in China. I don't live in North Korea.
I think I consider some people who I know who have gotten it, it feels to me like they moved to a different country. I'm still living in Canada. I don't know about them because now they believe that they do need to do this going forward. And
they can. Go ahead. That's what I'm saying. Knock yourself out. Go ahead and do it. Get the jab every 3 months. Do whatever you need to do to make you feel safe. I don't care.
Everybody should be able to.
Leave us unvaccinated alone. Leave us alone. Leave the 10% alone. And it's bullshit that we're clogging up the hospitals. Talk to your nurses. Talk to your nurses, not mainstream media. Talk to the real people. It's not true. Leave us alone. Go get vaccinated. Wear a double mask. Nothing changes for you. Mandate dropping gives us back our freedom. That's it. That's all. Go get your vaccines. They'll be there. Back off.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you very much.
It's not a complicated issue.
Thank you very much for doing that, Lucinda.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.